Hello, this is Miss Pat from Samuel's Public Library. With Science Scouts today, we're going to learn about capillary action. That's how the water gets from the roots of a plant all the way up to the top of the plant. But first, we're going to read a story about Rainbow Rhino, and this is by Peter Sis. You'll see what rainbows have to do with it later. Okay. And somewhere behind the mountains, in the middle of a deep valley, lived the rainbow rhinoceros. It's kind of a strange name for him, huh? He's kind of white. The rhino was happy with life as it was. He had plenty of space to run in, the sun to warm him, the breeze to cool him, and his good friends, the rainbow birds. Now, they look like rainbows. He doesn't. They played hide and seek with him. They told one another stories, and they took long walks together. One day, they walked further than they had ever done before. They left the valley and started up the mountain. What a strange and wonderful place, thought Rhino, as they pushed their way through the wild forest and came to a blue lake. What a beautiful lake, said the bluebird. He flew from Rhino's back and gazed at the clear water. I want to stay here, he said. So his friends went on without him. Soon they came to a grove of ripe bananas. What a lovely sight, said the yellow bird. He fluttered from Rhino's back to get a closer look. I want to stay here, he said. So Rhino and the red bird left him there. I think you see where this is going. They wandered out of the forest and into a field of bright poppies. How wonderful, said the red bird as he jumped from poppy to poppy. I want to stay here, he said. And Rhino was left alone. He walked on sadly, dragging his feet until he came to a bare and lonely tree. He sat down and thought about his friends, the rainbow birds. All of a sudden, a humming filled the air. Rhino looked up. The tree had come alive. How did you do that? A shivering, buzzing swarm of wild bees hung over his head. Rhino ran and ran. There were no leaves on that tree, huh? They were all the bees. He came to the field of red poppies, and there, ready to pounce, was a hungry hyena. Redbird cried, "This is no place for me," and he flew onto Rhino's back. Rhino ran and ran and ran. Soon they came to the banana grove, and there, ready to strike, was a big fat snake. Yellowbird screeched, "This is no place for me," and he flew onto Rhino's back. Rhino kept on running, and they came to the blue lake. There, about to snap his great wide jaws, was an enormous crocodile. Bluebird shrieked, "This is no place for me," and he flew onto Rhino's back. And Rhino kept right on running until they were home in the middle of the deep valley, somewhere behind the mountains. And that is where they stayed. Right, back here, you can see a rainbow. Okay, So the reason we are going to talk about rainbows is we're going to do a little experiment today. And it's going to, what I call rainbow water, right? But it's capillary action. Right? And you can see these all different colors of the water, right? They're all different rainbows. And this is celery that's stuck inside of it. And I don't know if you can tell, there's a red one, an orange one. This one didn't really turn yellow, but it's definitely not as dark as the others. This one's definitely greener, blue. This one's purple. Not quite sure what color that one is supposed to be. All right, but capillary action is when the water moves up. And in this case, it's going to move up through paper towels. This is our experiment that we're going to do today. It's going to move up through the paper towels through a process called capillary action. The paper towel is made out of fibers, and the water is going to travel through the gaps in the fibers, right? There's little tiny holes in your paper towels. You don't see them, but that stuff is just woven through, right? And you can always get a little bit of air through it. So the water is going to travel through the gaps in the fibers, and it's going to move up. Which kind of sounds weird, right? Water's moving up against gravity. All right, but this is how the water in a plant will climb from the roots all the way up to the leaves at the top of the tree. It moves against gravity because of the attractive forces. It kind of sucks it up from this hole to the next hole to the next hole, kind of like climbing a mountain and going from one rock ledge to another rock ledge, right? So there are fibers in the plants. Now, in this case, they didn't do celery, they did rainbow water, and they put in white daisies. And you can kind of see some turned pink, some turned orange, some turned blue, the purple ones. So really, sometimes some of the flowers you guys get, that's because they stuck them in colored water, right? And the stem actually sucked up colored water. That's what it did. So what we're gonna do is set up our experiment, okay? Now, if you guys come in and you get your stem bags, you're going to have little Dixie cups, little plastic cups, and you're going to have to fill them up with water. You're going to have 6 of them. All right, now in this case, I have Tupperware. So I have these 3 with water. And we're going to put these ones without water in between them, right? So we have water, no water, water, no water, water, no water. Kind of put them in a thing like that. And you're going to need food coloring. And these are what we call primary colors, right? Primary colors means these are the colors that help to make other colors. So in kindergarten, you guys probably learned yellow, red, and blue are your primary colors. And if you mix them together, you can get the other colors, the secondary colors. Okay? Now remember, we don't have any water in here. We also don't have any colors in here, but we're going to make those colors. All right? In your kit, besides your cups, you're also going to have some paper towels. All right? Now what you're going to need to do is kind of fold them, maybe in thirds. And then kind of bend them in half, because you're going to make a tent, okay? And you're going to go like this. Red's going to go into this empty cup, right? And the reason it's going to do that, because the water's going to go from here up this paper towel and down into this, right? And we're going to do that all the way around. Right, and we're even going to do that in the blue, and we're going to put it back in here. So notice we have 2 in this cup in the middle, right? And that's because the red is going to go into here and the blue is going to go into here. And if you remember your colors, blue and red are going to make purple. So we're going to see if we get purple water in here. Right now, remember, there's no water in here, right? Just like there's no water in these ones. But we're going to get water in them, because the water's going to travel. Now, I don't know if you can see, it's already traveled up this side, right? Remember, the water is just going up the paper towel. It's going up from fiber to fiber, just like it does in a plant. Again, this is called capillary action. okay? And the water will move up. And if you ever have white flowers outside and you want to turn them different colors, you could put flowers in here. Okay, so again, I have one red going to this side. And the reason is because I want red and yellow to mix. Red and yellow are going to mix and they're going to make orange. So we're going to hopefully get orange in here. And then we have yellow and blue we have to get together. All right, so we want the yellow to go this way as well. And yellow and blue, when they mix together, are going to make green. Now, this is not going to happen right away, so you will have to set this up. And then you can go outside, play, go watch a TV show, read a book. Definitely by the time you finish reading a book and you come back, okay, this will, all right, and I do want you guys to see how this is set up, okay. So go read a book, and by the time you guys come back, we're going to see some colors, right? Now paper towels are going to be very wet because the capillary action moved the water up and down into the empty cup. It's going to not just move the color, it's going to move the water. So those empty cups we had are going to be full of water. All right, so we're going to come back in a little bit. I'm going to go read a book of my own. You guys can go read your own book. And when we come back in a couple of minutes, we'll see what's up, okay? Okay, we are back. And this is our thing now. So you might be able to see we have orange, we have green, we have purple. If you leave it in really long enough, if you can notice that the pink is starting to go up the side of the blue. Eventually, they'll all go back into each other. Okay, so we have water in each one of them. This took about an hour and a half. Okay, and again, this is capillary action. This is why we read a story about rainbows, even though it has nothing to do with rainbows, but it's the color, and the color will help you realize that it will change the color of the flowers, and it's how the water moves up the trees. So hope you enjoyed this, and we will see you again next week. Bye.